Welcome back, everybody. I'm Naha. This is 30 Days of Tarot, and I'm kind of really settling into this little nook that I've been filming from lately. I've been trying to switch it up for you guys since you're coming back every day. I want to keep things a little bit fresh, but I've been sort of feeling this area of my house. So I want to get right into this deck that I want to share with you today. And it wasn't actually the deck I was planning on sharing with you. To be quite honest, everything's been coming out in a different order than I expected it to be. So I had made a list when I started this 30 days of these are the decks in the order that I want to do them in. And I think by the third day, the list was out the window and I was just needing to pick whatever was intuitively feeling right on the day of, and also trying to sort of space things out so I'm not doing too many old decks in a row or too many new decks in a row. So before we get into that, I need to say one thing. I lied. So I told you guys today was going to be the big announcement, and I'm so sorry, but it's actually going to be postponed, I think only by one day. So it's not my decision. There's actually a larger entity that is making the decision about whether or not I can say what this is, and I just need to wait most likely another 24 hours. So hopefully I can make that announcement tomorrow, but I also don't want to promise anything because I don't want to jinx it and have you guys going, you lied to us twice. So let's go ahead and get into what it is that we're opening. And I know this box probably looks a little bit big for a tarot deck, and that's because there's actually two decks in here. And it starts with a deck that I wanted and I saw it on, you guys know, my favorite place to buy decks, Kickstarter, right? And you know my background and the kind of decks that I'm really into, Kabbalistic. Now, if you're not into Kabbalistic decks, don't leave this video quite yet, because that's actually not what we're going to be looking at. So hold your horses. I honestly don't even know what I would call this deck that we're going to look at today. It's definitely in a category all of its own. And this package has come from Geneva, Switzerland. That's a new spot on the map. And this is actually coming from a tarot creator that's done a few different decks on Kickstarter. And so I went on there and saw that there was a Kabbalistic tarot deck. And of course, that's what I'm really into. And this, I think, was funded earlier this year, maybe in the spring, or maybe like around May, June, that time. But when you fund something on Kickstarter, sometimes you have a lot of options about if you want to get one deck or two decks, or if you want to get the deck and the cloth, or the deck and the cloth and the special art print that it comes with, or a signed letter from the creator. So what the case was with this Kabbalistic deck was that there was other decks by this creator, and so you could add them on as kind of a package deal. And because these decks were very limited edition, they are a little bit more expensive, but it was still cheaper for me to buy two of them than it would have been to buy both of them individually. It was actually priced in Swiss francs, but I think it was something like $50 or $55 for the single deck. But for $90, you could get the Kabbalistic deck and get one of his other decks. And the he I'm speaking about is an artist whose name is Eugene Vinitsky. Vinitsky, I think I'm saying that right. We've got a couple of decks and a couple cards here. Let me show you this first. This is the Kabbalistic Tarot, and it comes with this card, which is a certificate of authenticity. It's actually very cool, isn't it? And it says, Author's Edition number 137 of 500. Oh, that's cool. Only 500 of these printed. Okay, so we are going to be taking a look at this Kabbalistic Tarot, but not today. I don't know if it's going to make it into the 30-day series, but if not, I'll open it up in the near future. And I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments below. Are you into the Kabbalistic Tree of Life stuff? Do you want me to talk more about that and kind of teach you guys more about the correspondence to the Hebrew letters and the astrological aspects? I mean, to be honest, that is my thing. So if you're going to keep coming back, you're going to hear about it sooner or later. But just let me know if you do want me to make this Kabbalistic Tarot a part of the 30-day series, and I'll get it up sooner. But what we're going to look at today is this deck, which is not the one that I originally planned on getting. It, as I said, it was just an add-on. And this is called the Money Tarot. And again, it comes with a certificate of authenticity. It's not quite as cool as this one, which is actually printed like on what looks like a tarot card. This one's just on a piece of paper, but it is still individually numbered, number 24, and it says 2018 here. Certifies that this is an original Eugene Vinitsky artwork. I like little touches like that. You guys know, and he has his seal there. So I have no idea what to expect. You know, I really did not do any research. Can you believe it? I think that I deserve one day of not doing research, you guys. I have been just completely down so many rabbit holes, having my nose in so many books. It's brand new, so I'm not going to find it in Tarot Encyclopedia. The only thing that I did find out, because I wanted to see where you guys could get these decks, and Eugene actually has an Etsy store, and it's called Tarot Mania. I'll leave the link, but that's where you can buy this deck and the others. So again, here we see the Money Tarot. Is it Klimt that this reminds me of a little bit? Which actually a tarot exists of that artwork. But this is something definitely different. So let's get in here. Nice presentation of that. So what this is, and we see that this is all, of course, self-published in Geneva, Switzerland. That the images were taken off money from, I think, like all across the world. As it says right here in the beginning of the book, we handle banknotes every day and we probably imagine that we know them reasonably well. We look at them, but most of us don't really pay that much attention to them. Since you're probably more concerned with what they're worth, you could be forgiven for glossing over the details on the notes themselves, but every banknote has been meticulously designed to tell a story using tiny details which cover them and which you probably never noticed before. He goes on to say that it is commonly known now, more so than ever before, that paper money was designed largely by people with a philosophy grounded in the occult and had secret knowledge, and few understand that the banknote is a unit of magical energy. You know, that doesn't sound too far out there to me. I mean, I know that if you look at American money, there's all kinds of symbolism. There's Masonic symbolism, there's Hermetic symbolism, there's the pyramid and the eye. And I mean, if you look at Washington, D.C., it's all laid out in sacred geometry with a giant Egyptian obelisk in the center. So yes, the people who created this stuff symbolically, they know what they're doing, right? We're just going to go through these cards together. Like I said, I don't really know what to expect here. And we see it's one of these beautiful gold-edged, Disco Tarot. Here is the first card. Now, I don't know how easy it is going to be for you to see this. You can see that this is a picture that came from some paper money. We see the little serial number here, and it says on the side, 20 Franken, a franc maybe, and it says 20 up here. This is the Fool. We definitely see these people here going on some kind of a trek or excursion. It is somewhat reminiscent of the Fool. If you recognize any of this money from where you live, I would love for you guys to comment this down below. And I can't see what this one says, but I do recall, that's the High Priestess, that some of this is money that's no longer in circulation. Here we see a beautiful woman with a child here on the Empress, and it says 100 Mark. You see the 100 there. Well, I recognize this guy. That's Napoleon, right? So this must be a French banknote there, the Emperor. I'm actually kind of surprised. I actually thought that these were going to be kind of a much more of a stretch. Like, how's this person going to take images off of money and make it work with the tarot? And so far, what I'm seeing is it's actually working, isn't it? These cards are actually really beautiful. The Chariot, and we see a train there. This looks like it has Russian writing on it. Let me look in the little book and see. Okay, it says the Chariot. Give some keywords here: motion, action, ascension, focused skill. And it says that this is derived from 1917 Russo-Asiatic Bank. It's the Chinese Eastern Railway. Huh, really interesting. And actually, this card we just looked at, the Lovers, this is actually Czech money, and this is designed by Alphonse Mucha. Wouldn't have recognized that right off the bat, but we know who that is, a very famous artist, Mucha, right? Wow, guys, look at this strength. We see the lady with the lion. I am so surprised how impressed I am by these. I honestly thought it was just going to be like a real novelty and, you know, somebody who kind of had an idea and was going to try to make it work. But this is actually really surprisingly working. This is Belgium money. It's 20 francs and it's the 1919 issue. And this is Minerva, the Roman goddess with her lion. I'm pretty surprised. I honestly did not expect this to work as well as it does. It says this is a Yugoslavian banknote of 1920, and the allegory of progress, a man with a wheel, the naked man turning the wheel of progress there. Not only does the imagery work for me with the meanings, I also think that the execution of these is really good too. I like the fact, let's look at a few of them, of how the colors kind of vary. Now, I don't know if these colors are true to the actual paper money themselves, or if Vinitsky took some artistic liberties in coloring these, but either way, the colors are very cool, aren't they? This is an interesting card for the devil. Let's see what it says. This is money from Belgium. This is recent, 1998, 500 francs. And I would imagine now that the European Union has switched over to euros, I mean, it's been a while, right? But that a lot of this would be money that is, of course, no longer in circulation. There we see the tower. This is actually a 500 euro note. That should be a modern in circulation bill, right? Man, for something that I got on a fluke, I am really dang impressed by these. And here's another interesting thing. I did read on the Kickstarter page that Eugene created this deck specifically for the purpose of doing readings and divination about money, about financial matters, which I think is interesting. Let's see what we've got now that we've passed after the majors. We just have this single card, the gold coins. I don't know exactly what those are, some kind of doubloons. And let me show you the backs of these. The backs are very beautiful too. They have this muted color, but I really like it a lot. Now, these cards are pretty glossy, so if you're not a big fan of glossy cards, they might not be your favorite. As far as the handling of cards, sometimes glossy cards, they kind of are a little bit stickier. These don't stick together at all, like you've seen with some other decks that I've opened lately. So I don't mind it, and I do think that they look very beautiful. Let's keep going here with Ace of Cups, and we see this waterfall and that depiction of water. Oh, this is interesting. So we're seeing all the aces together. So they're just put in here in a little different order. Oh, that's a beautiful Ace of Wands. And we see that central palm tree there, like the wand. And I just have a feeling like there's so much in here. I mean, he's talking about all the things that are in our money that we don't normally notice. Doesn't it feel like these cards would just continue to tell stories and show you more and more details that you might not have noticed right off the bat? And he also makes it very easy for us to know what card it is. So it gives us the suit right up here and the number, so that for some of these that might be a little bit more of a stretch, we're not left wondering what card it is. Here's the Six of Cups and Rider-Waite-Smith style classical interpretation with the children there. And I do believe that since he also created a Kabbalistic deck, that he would be keeping in mind the Golden Dawn Rider-Waite-Smith style attributes. I just really, really like these. And I am noticing that it looks like all of these cups have the same kind of reddish tone to them. These are some of the court cards. There's the Queen. So kind of interesting to choose red for the suit of water. But if we look at these, we can see that the next suit is Pentacles, and then the swords are going to be green, and the wands are going to have this blue color. So what I think is also interesting about this whole making a deck specifically for the purpose of doing divination about finances is that some professional readers actually make it a rule that they won't give financial advice. I might have talked about this in another video, but every reader, especially every professional reader, has absolutely the right to decide for themselves what they feel morally and ethically willing to discuss and give guidance or counsel on. For instance, some people refuse to answer questions about anything that has to do with a medical diagnosis. And I think that that's generally wise. You would never want to take it upon yourself to be responsible for somebody's decisions concerning any kind of medical diagnosis if you're not a professional in that area. And then some people take that so far as to not counsel people on money or any investments. My personal stance, I don't have a problem giving readings for people about finances, and I actually have quite a few clients that do ask me about their investments or things of that nature. And of course, you know, there's the understanding that everybody still has, there's Nike, right? The right to do as they wish. You can get a reading and you can consult that, and you can still have free will and do as you please. It's just another opportunity to get some additional information, to have a larger perspective to consider. Who do we see here? Here's some angelic form. Let's look at the Six of Swords. This is actually money that comes from Greece from 1944, a Greece 100 drachmae. It just says that it's a Greek goddess. It doesn't say who it is. But I really am so pleasantly surprised by these. I recognize this too. This money is Mexican. This is pesos, yeah? 100 pesos. I've actually seen one of these guys in real life, one of these statues, when I went down to Cancun, to Chichen Itza, which is the big Mayan pyramids. They have statues like that. So as I was saying, this guy has produced a few different decks. He also did a Venetian tarot and the Kabbalistic tarot that I also have that we'll take a look at in the future. And then there is a current deck that he has on Kickstarter that's also a Kabbalistic deck, but a very different one from the one that I got. So we may be looking at that one in the future as well. And I think that he might have also done a Russian tarot, perhaps. But now that I see the quality of these, and the way that he actually really made these work, and the way that it's executed, I am a fan. I think these are beautiful. I think that they are unique. I think that I could definitely use them for questions beyond. Isn't that Mount Fuji? Must be Japanese money. I definitely think you could use these for questions beyond just money, right? But it would be interesting to think of having a specific deck that I pulled out when it was just a question about finances. And maybe it's not a bad idea to assign a deck. I have never even really thought about this, but with all of these decks that I have, to have specific ones that I only use for very specific types of questions. For instance, what if I had a deck that I only used for doing relationship readings? And this could be one that I use just specifically for finances. I don't hate that idea. Here are the last 4 court cards. And let's just see who this guy is. It says Bank Polski. Is that from Poland? Let's take a look. So, of course, this is money from Poland. It says this is from 1994, and it is King Kazimir III the Great. Well, I'm really surprised. It's not that I wanted to pull out a deck that I thought I wasn't going to like and show it to you guys, but I just didn't expect to love it as much as I do. I think that these are really unique. I have to say, bravo, Eugene. You created something really different and special here. So let's go ahead and do our 1-card draw. We're going to be asking what it is that we need to know about finances. So while I'm shuffling, you guys can go ahead and center yourselves. And whenever we're pulling a card, there's something to be said for taking that moment to just take a deep breath and just be open to whatever the message is. We don't want to pull a card when we are clenched up or going, ooh, I hope it's something good. I hope it doesn't say that I'm going to be in financial ruin. Well, we'll take a look. We'll see whatever the message is and what it is that we can focus on with that. We're not just asking a question about, are we going to be rich or not? In my opinion, if you have something that you want, for instance, you want to be able to be financially secure. We don't have to say we want to be billionaires, but if we want to have some kind of sense of being able to feel security in our material realm, let's ask the question, is there anything that we can be doing or focusing on to make sure that we're there? So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And here's our card. Looks like cups. Ace of Cups. Wow. Well, that looks very good. My first kind of thoughts that would speak to being heart focused, being open and receptive, receiving the blessings and abundance that the world wants to bring to us, and maybe thinking about things that one would value beyond financial wealth, thinking about wealth in a greater kind of sense, and thinking about what truly matters to you, what you really truly value. Let's go ahead and see, though, what it says here in the little book with this card. What a good draw. Love, peace, patience, harmony, assurance, tranquility, compassion, acceptance. And this image comes from Yugoslavian paper money, the 1,000 dinara note, and this is the Jaji waterfall. Wow. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining me on this very interesting and unexpected look at the Money Tarot. As I said, I will leave the link below to his Etsy shop where you can buy this deck. Let me know if you want to take a look at this Kabbalistic Tarot and have me teach you guys a little bit more about the Tree of Life coming up sooner than later. Hopefully my announcement comes tomorrow, but we'll see. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.